Mm. Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered Call-In Show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy.
Mm. Hey, 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 everybody, how you doing? My name is Devon Morris. I'm going to be your guide on this journey once again. Welcome to the Unfiltered Show, where we talk about Scrum, Agile, entrepreneurship, team effectiveness. That's the big new thing that we talk about all the time here. So if you have questions, anything like that, then come on in, get your drink, get comfortable, and we're going to get this thing going. I'm actually closing a couple of things out as we are talking here, but we're going to have a good one on this show because we're going to talk about Scrum for good, man. Scrum for good, not like doing it forever, but for good sake is what I'm talking about, right? Scrum for good, right? A lot of people actually always in classes and things of that nature talk about using Scrum in other ways. Right. And so this would be one of those opportunities where we get to have that conversation about it and see what you all think. Because I've been thinking about a lot of things. So, on that note, as you come in, make sure you say hi, make sure you speak, make sure you say what's up, right? Make sure you do that. So, and then we could be good to go. I'm just making sure I got everything set here. I'm looking around and make sure, see who's in the room. And we got a few people in the room here so far, so that's a good thing. But this is good. I just decided to schedule this, man, because I'm just seeing too much stuff happening in the world, man. And this is maybe, it ain't the biggest platform on the planet, but it is a platform. And I said to myself, we need to have a conversation, right? And so that's what I'm here to do today is to bring us in on a conversation and let's just talk about this a little bit, is what I'm thinking to myself, right? Using Scrum outside of that classic tech place is what I'm thinking, and we will speak to that today for sure. So get your britches ready because we got stuff to do here. Now I'm gonna say this and say it up front. Um, you know, First and foremost, if you've been around before, you know we do. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. It always is helpful for the algorithms to say, hey, maybe we're doing something a little bit decent over here, right? So yeah, so just come on in, get comfortable, and we will make sure we kind of go from there. I haven't set up my. Let's see. Let me make sure I can see the comments, man. Let me make sure I can see the comments. There we go. I see the comments. I haven't checked LinkedIn. Let me go open up LinkedIn so I can make sure I check out the spot over there real quick. I always have that up just in case, people say something over there. But all the business really is happening on YouTube, just so you all know. But always go and double check. So let me go and double check. And again, today is a surprise show because I'm only supposed to be doing it every couple weeks, right? But I was thinking this morning, like, we need to have a convo, right? So anyway, we are doing our thing here and just making sure we're good to go. Let's see. Uh, yep, I got people over there. There we go. All right. All right, so just real quick, who's here? Andrea, how you doing? Andrea, yes, the world. Welcome to the greatest Scrum show on earth. I love it. 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 I brought that old intro out, right? I just was like, let me bring the old intro out. That was the original intro, right? And so, what's up, Patrick? How you doing, D? As always, make sure you say hi, and then we'll kind of go from there. Um, what's going on with me this week? Ah, I'm actually. I've been super busy, but I'm super busy all the time, right? So just getting things going. Realistically, I got 500 Scrum questions that I created because people always ask me for practice test questions. So at some point, that's going to be available, especially for alum and people that's coming into CSM. And then I got something interesting I'm really pulling together, right? And that is dominate your Scrum career. And it's going to be a series of things where one of them is going to be about landing your first or next role. And then I got several other series that will come after that, but it's going to be dominate your Scrum career. I'll talk a little bit about that later. Other than that, I'm just pushing forward with that dissertation thing, right? Just pushing forward like I'm supposed to. And that's working out all right. And, it's just been, I can say overall, it's just been goodness for the sake of goodness sake, right? So I don't have any real complaints. The real question is, what's going on with you all, right? What's really happening with you? How's life treating you? How's things going? That would be my question, right? We got an interesting world happening right now. Massive amount of layoffs about to happen here in the U.S. Just a lot of interesting things. So I just want to make sure that you all are all right, and then we're gonna keep going from there. I got a good one here. Um, this topic is just one of the interesting ones, right? Scrum for Good, how to lead teams that deliver in crisis, right? I think this was proved out when we actually had the pandemic, and when that first came into play, this became a big thing. And how do you just kind of utilize it for good is what it boils down to. So it's just one of those things. So we're gonna just jump into it. We actually just gonna get into that. So how about we do that now? Because I do want to talk about it since it just keeps coming up in my head, right? Um, so here's the deal. First and foremost, welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. We're gonna get right into it and start having a conversation, right? It's one of those things that when you open up your phone, when you actually turn on the television, what do you actually see, right? For me, I see a bunch of, well, in Texas, there's been a lot of floods, right? Sweeping across central Texas. People calling me to check to see if I'm okay. Um, Families left with absolutely nothing. There's this constant gnawing of uncertainty that's happening. There's the economic chaos from the trade wars and tariffs. There was a shooting, right? And every time that happens, that leaves us pretty numb. With the human cost of a broken immigration system, those headlines are relentless. ICE people shooting back at ICE people. The chaos is really, really real. And in the face of all that, it just increases the pressure. And it becomes so easy for all of us to feel powerless, right? Um, to to be like the problems are too big and too complex, right? But we know that that's a lie. What if I told you that the secret is to making a real difference in the crisis? It isn't just about having good intention because people always talk a good game, right? It's about having a better framework, right? And the good thing is that a lot of us that jump on the show have experienced that framework, right? Um, it's really about a way to organize, to really focus, and to deliver, right? We already actually have that framework, right? And tonight we're going to talk about it and how to really utilize it for good. A lot of times, in terms of where it grew up at, people don't quite get how to pivot with it, right? So now, for some of you here, when I say the word Scrum, you immediately think software developers, tech companies, sticky notes on whiteboards. I got sticky notes all the time somewhere near me, right? And you're not really wrong about that, right? But Scrum was never just about tech. At least at its heart, it was never just about tech, right? Scrum is really a simple framework for helping teams solve complex problems in a chaotic, challenging world. That's what Scrum is all about, right? It's a way of kind of organizing fast moving, adaptive, self managing teams that can deliver real value, really quick, right? It's a system designed for the very uncertainty we all are feeling right now in this world. It kind of replaces that rigid long-term plans that really don't work when uncertainty is just rampant. The to shatter the real impact with a structure that allows teams to really adapt, to learn, and to win together is what we're doing here. So really, how does it work is the question, because it's not a silver bullet. There's nothing about it that's a silver bullet. It's not magic, right? It's about three principles, but I want to kind of mix those things up that are absolutely critical in crisis, right? And so some of you all going to see those three principles a certain way because you've experienced the Scrum framework, but I'm going to kind of tee it up a little bit different, right? The first thing that I'm going to talk about is empirical process control, right? And empirical process control will hold the other things. It sounds complicated, but it really, really isn't, right? You just make decisions based on what is real, based on what is you experience, based on what's happening now, not based on the perfect plan or something that you wrote last week. So when a bridge washes out, your plans are useless, right? Scrum gives you the structure to react to the reality that's happening on the ground. And so we're using that empirical process. The thing that you have to understand when you go study the literature, you look back into philosophy, empiricism comes from imperia, which means experience, right? And so we're really kind of learning or we're doing things based on what is being experienced. Now, as a part of this, really the second thing, because I talked experience, the next thing I want to bring up is something I believe is really, really critical and important as well, and that is transparency. Transparency in crisis, because confusion is the absolute enemy. Transparency means everybody knows who is doing what the goal is, what the obstacles are, no secrets, no silos. This really builds trust. And it moves everything really faster, is what you really want, right? Gets everybody on the same page when you have the right level of transparency, right? The third thing, and I'm putting two things together, classically we call it Scrum pillars, but I'm just bringing them together because I think they work in a cycle, and that is inspection and adaptation. You don't wait until the crisis is over to figure out what went wrong, right? You constantly check. You learn while you're working. You adjust your approach on the fly. It's about getting better while you're still in the fight, right? So it's not just theory, right? But it's more looking into what is happening on the ground. These are the basis that Scrum is really built on, and we kind of include those three things in the empirical process. But here's the deal: if you use this simple framework, you can take tomorrow and move, and whether it's in the boardroom or in the disaster zone, you can actually adjust as needed. So it's another one of those things that you can just apply where you're at. But just remember those three, four components: empiricism. I'm talking about experience, right? So I'm putting that to the side. Transparency, and then inspecting and adapting. And I'm kind of keeping those together because I think that cyclic process while you're experiencing things is really, really important. Now, let's take this a little bit deeper, right? Because this is also, how do you start dealing with this? How do you start implementing this? Well, one of the first things I'm going to say to you, which a lot of you are going to be like, duh, is form a cross-functional team fast, right? A crisis doesn't care about departments. It doesn't care about titles. You need one team, maybe a logistics expert, maybe a medical volunteer, maybe a local resident who knows the neighborhood. You need the mix of skills that are set there to help you solve the problem, whatever those skills are. Not just parts of the problem, but you need to look at the problem holistically and you need to move fast around that problem. The other thing that you need to have, just realistically, is a daily stand up, right? Daily scrum and scrum, but a daily stand up. This is really a non negotiable in the crisis, right? Every day for 15 minutes, the team gets together, not to solve every problem, but to get synchronized, to get on the same page, right? Everyone's there to really talk about where we've been so far, ultimately where we're going, and if there's anything that's preventing us from getting there, right? It's just that daily reset that keeps everyone aligned and focused on the immense pressure that is happening. So it becomes really, really important to have that daily sync. The last thing that I would say, the third thing here is going to be the retrospective lessons learned. And I say retrospective because I want it to be active, right? This is a game changer because even in the middle of the storm, you take a moment to pause. However long it is, just take a moment to pause. Take a moment to ask yourself, what's working and what's not working, and what you can do better within the next 24 hours, within the next hour, whatever it is, right? This is how you learn why you go. It's how a volunteer group goes from really clumsy to being really a well-oiled machine, right? This isn't a fantasy. This happens in reality, right? Most places I go, when I see groups of people working together, especially they got real big problems to solve, they have that daily scrum. They talk about what they can do to make things better, right? You see these things happen, and those teams are cross-functional, right? So if you take those three things, right, and you add to what we talked about earlier, you're moving in the right direction, right? It's kind of like I kind of set myself back, right? Think about right here in Texas, where I live at, right? The volunteers here, they're not one group, right? The most effective isn't just a mob of people. They're a cross-functional team. They get together every single morning, a daily scrum. They figure out what's happening in the street, what went wrong. They get clear on those things, right? Then they go get things done. And then they decide, hey, what we're going to do next. And they're going to adapt those plans based on what they learned, based on what they experienced. So you're really taking these things and organizing yourself in a way to adjust to the change, right? This is not about making, big 6 month plans, having teams of lawyers and only lawyers or paralegals or social workers. The idea is that we're bringing the right group of people together to identify any blockers, to actually share information, to make sure that we are inspecting and adapting as real time as possible while this crisis is in motion, right? It doesn't matter. You think about people that's on the ground doing the work. It doesn't matter who's doing the work here. Journalists, getting together with people in the neighborhood, right? To figure out, hey, how can we go rescue people over here, right? It's still going to boil down to a lot of the same things that we're thinking about. Finding a way to get that critical information to the public, to the people, to find the right people, right? All we're really doing is adapting rapidly to what's happening on the ground, expressing it out in news cycles, right? To do what we can. This is using Scrum, right? I don't care what you call it, it's using Scrum. They're using the principles that have helped us deliver really well, really fast. They're using on the ground to combat this issue, right? And so here's the deal. You know, my question for you at this point, because this is simple, right? How many of you all have really used Scrum outside of the workplace? I mean, to really deal with a problem that's going on, maybe a crisis that's going on. Have you seen it in action? Have you actually done it? That's my question, right? If you have, do me a favor, drop something in the comments. I want to know, right? Other people want to know because they think that Scrum is can only be used inside of the job, at the workplace, on IT, things of that nature. And I beg to differ. I really, really do. And finding ways to use it to help solve problems is really a good thing that you can actually do just regularly, right? And it will make a difference, right? The question I would ask you is, if you did see it, where where did you see it happen, and did it actually make a difference? Did it actually make a difference? Where did you see it happen? Did it actually make a difference? Right. The reason why I say that is because I want you to tell other people. Right. Um, because the thing is that we can talk about these things. Right. Backlogs are good. Everything's great. But here's the deal. This is a little bit different, right, in terms of me speaking this, because if I turn on the news, all I hear is negative, 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 negative. And all I ever say to myself is, what are we going to do to solve the problem? And I can't go solve every problem. I kind of deal with problems that's in my universe, right? And then just kind of go from there. Volunteer my time to different things, definitely. But every time I do, I see elements of Scrum and usage. Okay, elements in Scrum and usage, and it's one of those things where you should be seeing that because it's one of the greatest skills to actually have, right? I see, let's see, DeAndre say over here, I use Scrum all the time outside of work. That is good to know. I use it all the time outside of work as well. I don't know anything else to do. It's kind of like I feel like I was raised on it to some degree. So I do it in everything, right? I remodel my house using Scrum. I use it for my workout routine. But when I think about it in crisis, I just look at the elements of what's happening in a crisis, right? And when I've volunteered for various things, I've seen good usage, right? The right elements in there, right? And so really, really important. But let me continue here and again drop some more information in the comments if you've seen it, if you've seen it out there. The thing is this, right? Nothing real crazy. This really is truly about I would say just kind of look for these ideas, look at the potential, right? Take what you know, your skills in terms of organizing, in terms of leading, in terms of coaching, and just use it for good from time to time. I'm not saying all the time, right? Scrum isn't a methodology at all. It isn't just a framework for building products. It's really a mindset, right? It's a mindset of service to the team and service to others, a mindset of delivering impact over just having activity. It's an mindset of courage in the face of chaos, right? In these times, right? In times like we're having right now, we don't just need good interventions. We need teams that can deliver. We need leadership that empowers. We need a world that now more than ever can make a difference. And the people that can make a difference is us folks that deal within the Scrum world. You got the tools, you got everything you really need to make that difference, right? Because a lot of times you can get on the ground, and if you can organize a Scrum team to deliver a product, you can organize a group of people on the ground trying to solve a simple, not a simple problem, solve a life-threatening problem. You may have not have the skills to be able to go and do CPR right on a person, or you may not be able to go swim or whatever it is, but you actually have the skills to help the group be successful. The group be successful. And so this is something I know that we can do. And as I see all these crises happening, um, I just always wonder, to myself, what do we do about it? What do we do about it? If we don't make a difference, then it's almost like I don't even want to see it if we're not going to make a difference. Okay. I just believe we are in a key place where we could actually truly, truly, truly make a difference. So I think this is how you use Scrum for good, right? I think this is how you help lead teams to deliver in crisis. I think these are the things that I've seen on the ground when I've observed it myself from a distance or from up close. These are the things that I've seen. My question for you is, what did I miss here? What did I miss here? Have you seen a crisis, especially being organized? And did you see some of these elements in that crisis, especially if you was involved in it, right, to some degree? Have you seen some of these elements involved in that crisis? Because these are the elements that I've seen. And if I missed any elements, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. What elements did I miss, right? What elements did I miss? Because I'm not perfect, right? I'm not perfect. I could have missed out on a lot of things. I'm just talking about from my experience, but what did I miss is my question. Okay. Now, that being said, we'll continue that conversation. But what I want to do now, because we're at the 20 something minute mark, is I want to open the floor for any questions that any of you all have here. And we will go on the show as long as you have questions. That's what we're going to do. I like it that way, right? I'm still going to set up a show for next week, right? I just wanted to jump out there today and have this because I've been thinking about it, man. I turned on the news by mistake and I just saw all this stuff happen in the past couple weeks. And you know, it's just a lot of not so good things, right? But again, there's I always think of there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's something brighter on the other side. And humans are resilient by their very nature, and we get through things. But maybe we can find ways to help more people get through things. Okay. All right. So that being said, once again, we also answer questions that you may have about your career, Scrum, Agile, all those things. You are welcome to go ahead and jump in and throw those questions in the comments, or you're welcome to really join the show. If somebody wants to join the show, drop it in the comments. I'll drop a link, and then we just will kind of go from there. If not, we'll just end early tonight and then go from there, and we'll be good. So I'm gonna move us away from the Scrum for good for right now, but I'm gonna say these couple things here. Um, it's nice to see other people using Scrum outside of the workplace, right? It makes me feel good to see people use it outside the workplace. I have all the time. I have so much so that it feels natural to me. Um, so it becomes one of those things where something's as natural as walking. I don't want to talk about walking, right? Because I just naturally do it, right? It's like my heart beats. It just naturally happens, right? There's nothing to talk about, right? So it just becomes a normal thing, right? And moments like this, when I had that little epiphany this morning, I said, you know what? We need to talk about Scrum for good, and we need to put this out here in the universe so then people can at least access it at some point. So that being said, let me know what questions you have. This is my pop-up version. I popped up today. This is my pop-up version of the show because it wasn't supposed to be today. It's supposed to be next week. But I said to myself, why not? Right. So what's up, Patrick? What's going on with you, sir? What's going on, D? How you doing? Andrea, how you doing? DeAndre, how you doing? Been messaging back and forth with Andrea. November 7th, they have a professional day out there in the Bahamas. So let people know about that. I think it got to be virtual if I'm attending, right? So people may want to attend that and support, folks in the Bahamas, right? Let's see what else is going on. Let's see. I'm over here just taking a look. Yeah, you just gotta love it, right? DeAndre, you on LinkedIn and oh man, let's see. I like it. Yeah, that's a big thing. So I'm gonna throw this out here because DeAndre kind of threw it out there. So I'm gonna throw it out there, right? Um, in between roles, having been laid off into June, what advice can you give while I look for my next role? Right? Well, here's a question I would say to you because most people I send this way, so I don't even know how many people I have. I have not. Um, DeAndre, there's a guy who does a class called Brandon Land. His name is John Signo. I would advise you to get into a Brandon Land class, but I would say to you more so, he has a book, and I would say grab this book, and this book will be helpful. DeAndre, was you a part of my CSM class? Let me know. Drop that in the comments. Was you a part of my CSM class? Yeah, drop in the comments. Let me know. Right. But I would say this Brandon Lamb book is probably the place to start. And if you do this and do this to help prepare your stuff, then you will be good to go. John also has the class called Brandon Land. But here's what I'm going to say to you, DeAndre. Here's okay. So make sure you get your resume right. Make sure you do some training, right? Make sure you get your LinkedIn right. I think LinkedIn has turned into a lot of spamish type stuff. Make sure that you join some user groups, especially some Scrum user groups if you're going to be a part of doing more stuff in this community. Make sure you do that because I want you to increase the networking stuff up. And then here's the deal. Here's something that I plan to do, right? And you tell me if you're interested in it, DeAndre. For anybody that's trained with me, anybody that's trained with me. I don't care when it's been, but if you trained with me for your CSM, I am creating a course right now. The course is called, and I mentioned it earlier, um, Dominate Your Scrum Career. And then it is the title after that is landing your first or next role, right? And I think about it landing your dream role, right? And we're going to be talking about how to focus in your scrum on landing and interviewing is what it's going to be about. Um, here's the deal. I'm going to offer that for 5.99, but what I'm going to do is probably over the next 6 months give it to my alumni for free, for free, right? Just as a way to get things going, right? And then I'm going to create an agile community um, of folks that can come in and take that, and then also have conversations in the community around that. And that's going to be called your agile team. So I'm working on building the environments for this right now as I transition things to atypical. But you let me know if you're interested in that, DeAndre. Because I know that with some of our mail list, some people get our mails regularly, some people don't. Some people are off our list because they haven't communicated us in a while. And so, if you're interested in that, in Alumni Bearded Eagle, you get to come through CSM, not necessarily CSPO. You get to come through, and you're going to be able to have that for free. That's what I want to do for our community. That's come and trained with me, right? So just let me know if you're interested in that. I can double check, to see if you in my list. Just real quick, I'll do that right now because it's just one of those things where, let's see, da 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 da. Yeah, I got you, man. Let's see. Yeah, last time you interacted was today. So yes, yes, yes. You will be getting an email from me in the next 30 days, DeAndre, related to that class, related to the group, and seeing people really want to join. Okay. So what do you think about that, DeAndre? Is that a good idea, bad idea? Does everybody else think I'm crazy? Right? I just got a lot of things that I'm building, right? So I'm just building things to make sure things are good to go as I build bigger and bigger things that are gonna happen, right? But yeah, that's gonna be about it's gonna be probably about over $1,000 worth of value between the things that I'm gonna give to alumni. It'd probably be more like $1,500, $1,600 worth of value. So that if you took the class, boom. Because when 2020 happened, we did a whole bunch of stuff where we did classes for free, classes at a really low price. We did a lot of different things for people to help them, really get involved and get in this community. And I think a lot of it worked. DeAndre is a part of the 2020 alum. Maybe he was a part of the cohorts that we had ran back then, DeAndre. But hopefully, you all think that's a decent idea. If you do, let me know in the comments, right? Let's see. D, 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 you're here all the time, D. So, you know, um, yeah, D, you're good. You're good, D. I got you. I see that your last engagement with me was today, so you looked at my email. You at least opened it, right? So that being said, yes, D, you're on the list. You're good. Okay. So you'll be getting that information, D. No worries. But again, people that's taking my CSM, it's just that simple. Bearded Eagle alumni, all of them. If you took the Lizzie CSM, you're into. You're Bearded Eagle alum, you taking my CSM or Lizzie CSM, you're in, you know. So that's gonna be strictly for alum. Okay. I don't know why, it's kind of like it's crazy, right? You do things. Um, I'm in the I got the ability to be able to do it. So that being said, hopefully you all are interested, right? Hopefully you all are interested because I think that's how we want to rock. That's how we want to roll. That's how we want to do things, right? And so, it's definitely coming. So I'm working on creating stuff for that right now, right? You know, I actually could show y'all, you know, the new site. I'm not gonna show it to y'all. Well, actually, I could actually show it. Um, but it's going to be a whole different thing. So it's coming, right? So, so if you're interested in the site, you'll see it here. I just built that site this weekend. So DeAndre, let me know if that was helpful because I gave a bunch of comments in terms of what I think you should do. But I also dropped that Brandon Lamb book. I'm definitely gonna say I believe that the the class is gonna be helpful for you. I think it's gonna be helpful for you too, D. And I'm going through some really specific things. This weekend I'm gonna create some videos for it. So I mean, this is actively happening, right? So I've written a lot of the stuff related to the class. I probably have written 50% of the materials. I've started 0% of the videos. And so it's one of those things where I think this weekend I'll write some scripts and I'll write some scripts this week. And this weekend I will record several videos that'll be a part of that class. So the class is not ready to go yet. But right now, like I have probably the future CSMs. You all are CSMs now, so you don't have to worry about this. I have like 400 or 500 Scrum questions that I'm going to make available to people who come to the class. And then I'll make that available to the public. I'll make the other thing available to the public for those who haven't taken my CSM, or the Bearded Eagle alumni. And so it's just one of those things that I want to make sure I do. Man, you know what, man? Let me tell you something, bro. I hate to say this. I'm not me without you. I really am not me without you at the end of the day, right? I really am not me without you. Um, and it's kind of like one of those things where people don't always believe it, right? So, DeAndre, another thing I would say to you is that you are welcome to come back for that refresher class too. I don't know if you already had it, but you're welcome to come back for the refresher on the CSM, right? That's a thing that I never talk about that I do, but I've been doing that for years and years and years. We don't advertise or anything like that. I need to start advertising it. Um, but you are welcome to come back, right, for that refresher, right? And so it's one of those things where, we can do the whole reason why we do this show was this for alumni more than anything else, because alumni was interested in asking questions. It just was the same questions all the time. So I was like, let's do this on YouTube. So I can answer your questions in one place and everybody can benefit from it. So yeah, so no, no, no. I'll say it again. No, thank you, right? Because there's no me without you, right? So that's what I would say to you more than anything else. So yeah, so take a look at my site. Think you want that refresher, man, just shoot me an email, not DM at Bearded Eagle anymore. Send it to team at Devon Morris. Team at Devon Morris. If you do that, I mean, you know my name, so team at Devon Morris, right? You do that, and boom. But you already get my stuff, so so team at Devon Morris, you already get my stuff, so you're on the list, so I didn't have to put that out there. So yeah, just come team at devonmorris.com and just send me an email and let me know. Pick a class you want to come to. And then I'll get you approved and send it to my team, and we'll get you in a future class, man. So yeah, just go on my website and pick one, right? You see the class, you see I put a few of the classes that come up in the email, right? Pick one, right, and go, right? So you got the information, man. So yeah, so you definitely welcome to come back for a refresher, okay? Those things I think will help you, right? Um, and you know. Maybe what I'll do, and you all tell me what you think about this, right? Um, Maybe what I'll do is, and I'm thinking off the top of my head, right? Maybe what I'll do is make the first people who want to join the down down for to dominate your Scrum career. Maybe for them, what I'll do is do a drip campaign where we released a module or two first, and then maybe a week or two after that, release another couple modules because I think it's gonna be 4 or 5 modules, 4 or 5 lessons, I should say, right? Um, and maybe we can drip the lessons. I don't know. What do y'all think? That way, you can get some more immediate help along the way. So yeah, so that is going to be what's really, really, yeah, it's gonna be fun, right? It's gonna be fun. So I'm over here working. I'm working through the stack right now because I have to be able to deliver this stuff to you, and it's gonna be I'm moving everything over to 8 typical. So Bearded Eagle is gonna kind of be sunset and turned into legacy brand. So just we're doing the thing, right? We're doing the thing. We're doing the thing that we're supposed to be doing. That's what we're doing. The thing that we're supposed to be doing. All right. So I don't get no confusion here, right? No confusion whatsoever's. Whatsoever's. You feel me? So now my question for you all is any other thoughts in terms of that? So DeAndre, yes, just come through. Like I said, make sure you want that refresher. Come through. Yeah, come through. Do the thing. Right. And we'll make sure we take care of you, bro. I got you. Let's see. Yeah. You do that, we'll be good to go. Right. So that being said, any other thoughts, any other questions from you all here? Any other thoughts? So hopefully my answer helped you out. I think that the materials that you're gonna get from me through this stuff is gonna be helpful. Yeah. So trying, man, trying my best, man, trying my best, trying my best, trying my best. Right. So it's trying times out there, and with all this stuff going on, man, it is crazy. Lots of stuff going on. So yeah. All right, so I got D and DeAndre that's ready to go on that, so that's good. And then other people you come in as you please, but other than that, anything else from you all here? Because if not, we may shut it down early. Be done with it. Again, this was a pop up. You know, I'll schedule another show probably next week, definitely next week, and probably get the schedule tomorrow, probably on Wednesday. Um, as we think about what we're going to talk about, right? And then just kind of go from there. Yeah, but I'm working. Yeah, I'm working on my tech stack right now, y'all. For real, I got to work on the tech stack. I built a whole website this weekend, and so now I got to start working on the tech stack, so that I can be able to deliver online courses to you all that are gonna, be good, right? Ultimately, is what I want to do. So yeah, so we're sitting pretty here, man. We're sitting pretty, sitting pretty, sitting pretty, sitting pretty. That is crazy. Fun stuff though. All right. So on that note, I don't see any comments on LinkedIn. I don't see any further comments on YouTube. But I ask one more time before we shut it down. Any other comments? Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other comments? I'll be loving this stuff, man. I can't even help it. Ooh wee. Been a good week, man. Been a good week. It's just only Monday and I'm enjoying myself a whole lot. I've been over here enjoying the Clips album. So, I'm just over here just doing what I do. Ballerinas. All right, y'all. Well, I think then we're gonna call it done and we're gonna call it a wrap for the night. You be on the lookout, especially if you're alum, for those kind of refreshers and bonuses that I'm going to give to new people. I'm going to give you all those same things. So just know that's coming. Yeah, I'm planning to have some of that stuff available August, but I was thinking September. But I can see what I can do sooner, right? But the biggest problem is got to get the tech stack right, okay? So I got to have conversations tomorrow to get that right, and then we're gonna just kind of roll from there. Other than that, I'm gonna say thank you all, thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been a pleasure. It is a pleasure, like it always has been. I love being here. I actually love having these conversations with you all. Other than that, y'all have an amazing rest of the week. And you need something, holla at me. You got my information. I'm easy to reach out to. So I'll just say to you all, realistically, peace. I'll see you next week. Have a good one.